It's going to come right down to the end, like they all have. You know,
every time.
Bills have had the Chiefs number during the regular season, but the Chiefs have had the Bills number during the playoffs, and it always comes down to a significant play in the fourth quarter, some way, somehow. I was at the game when Josh Allen left 13 seconds on the clock, and they're 3 points ahead, and all of a sudden Patrick Mahomes takes them down the field, gets a field goal, and they go into overtime, and they never see the ball again. So these are the type of games that it's going to be when these two go against each other. I think Josh Allen is playing really good football. I think the key is going to be the team that takes best care of the football. The Chiefs have always been the team that did that in the playoffs. If the Buffalo Bills can really protect the ball the way they have the last two playoff games, I think they have a chance to win this football game, because whoever has the ball doesn't create those short fields for the other team, doesn't give the ball to the other football team, I think is going to be the one that has the best chance to win.
Warren, Josh and Patrick are both going to be Hall of Famers. A lot of people have already said they think Patrick is the greatest quarterback of all time. Certainly, I think a lot of people would say that if they're able to complete this three-peat here. Josh Allen, they're likely going to be the MVP of the league this year. Who would you take? Who do you want going into this game on Sunday? I know it's an impossible choice, but who has the quarterback advantage for this game this Sunday?
Well, I think you have to go with Patrick Mahomes just because of his history. I mean, this is a guy who has been to 7 straight AFC championship games since he started. He's been in this game. You know, he lost to Brady and he lost to Burrow. Otherwise, he's been to it would be 5 Super Bowls if he goes this year. It would be 5 Super Bowls, and he's got 3 already now in 4 years. So, you know, he's got the advantage. He's playing at home. He's got the crowd behind him. This is a team that just knows how to win. They know how to find ways to win. They've done it the whole season long, so they're battle tested. They have the callus from playing in tough football games. So I don't think it'll be anything different for them if this game goes right down to the end, because most of their games have gone that way this year. So I'd have to give Patrick a slight edge, but the Bills are playing so good right now. Josh Allen is playing out of his mind. He's taking care of the football, something that he hasn't always done in the past. And I think that's the difference in his game this year. He's spreading the ball around to a lot of different people, not feeling like he has to be Superman every time he has the ball. And I think that's why they've had so much success.
Warren, how don't the Bills convince themselves that something is not going to break right for them? Just like you said, with 13 seconds left, and it looked like finally the Bills had won. They were advancing, and we know what happened. I mean, is that in the back of their heads? I mean, do they feel like no matter how well we play, something is just not going to go right for us, and we're going to lose? Or how do they guard against that? Thinking like that before this game.
Well, you hope they have a different mindset coming into this one just because of the way they've played this year. They've played a different brand of football. Like, it hasn't been all Josh Allen and you guys come follow me. It's been a whole team effort. Their defense has played well. They've created turnovers. They do come into this game a little banged up on defense. They've got some guys that they're not going to have on that side of the ball. That kind of concerns me a little bit. But I think coming in, they feel like this is a different team than what we had last year. There's a lot of confidence with them, especially the way they beat the Ravens last week. A lot of people thought the Ravens would even beat them, even though they were playing at home, but they handled them. So I think that game gave them a tremendous amount of confidence. And now they feel like they can go into Arrowhead and win this football game, because they know the last time they played the Chiefs, which was this regular season, they beat the Chiefs. So they have that in their mind as well.
Before we move on to the NFC side of things and take a break, what's the gut tell you? Chiefs or Bills?
I'm still going Chiefs. I think something like 27-24. I really think the Chiefs will find a way to win this football game, but it'll be a close one. Jaden, I've known him since he was a sophomore in college. I was very impressed with him, very mature kid for his age. But he was just so-so at Arizona State. Then he transfers to LSU. He has a so-so junior year, and then something happened that senior year where he won the Heisman Trophy. He got a lot bigger. I think he put on about 20 more pounds of muscle. A lot faster. His arm seems to be stronger than it was when he was at Arizona State, and he's just carried that over into this rookie season. So this team is playing with a lot of confidence right now. And the last time they played the Eagles, they beat the Eagles. It was a high-scoring game. I think Jaden had like 5 touchdown passes in that game. So I don't count them out of this game, but I think the thing that the Eagles have in their favor is they're playing at home. It's going to be cold. They just played a cold game last week where the Commanders were inside and they were playing no elements. So I think the elements are going to have a little bit to do with it this week. And the fact that if you can run the ball in this type of weather, you have an advantage. And the Eagles can definitely run the ball with Saquon Barkley.
If you can, Warren, explain just how difficult and how impressive it is for a guy to come into the league, to go 11-5, to throw for nearly 3,600 yards, to set rookie rushing records, 25 touchdowns, only to 9 interceptions. I mean, this is not an easy thing to do for anybody, but as a young guy, I mean, just how impressive is that as somebody who was once a rookie quarterback in the NFL?
Yeah, this is a team that only won 4 games last year. And the reason why he was the number 2 overall pick is because of how bad their football team was last year. So to come in here as a rookie with basically the same roster, they have brought in some guys like Bobby Wagner on the defensive side of the ball and that, but it's a lot of the same players. To have a young guy to come in and turn this thing around like that, the way he's played, and give them the confidence that he gives them every time they play. It starts back with the Hail Mary when they beat the I think it was Atlanta back early in the season on the Hail Mary. Then all of a sudden he wins 3 or 4 more games in the fourth quarter, a couple on the last play of the ball game with last-second touchdowns. That just gives your team so much confidence in a young quarterback that when you go into the season with a rookie, you're wondering, can this guy be the guy to really take us where we want to go right now? But now they're seeing that they have a chance. They're in the NFC Championship game after only winning 4 games last year. So when you walk in with that type of confidence, knowing that you've beaten this team already one time, and you know them very well because they're a division opponent, it's just going to come down to the little things that are going to be the difference in this ball game. The little things are, again, like what I talked about with the Chiefs game. It's going to be turnovers in the playoffs, turnovers and big plays. And who takes advantage when they have the ball in the red zone? Do you score field goals or do you score touchdowns? Field goals and touchdowns are going to be important in this ball game.
Right, and the Commanders saw it firsthand last week with the turnovers. That's why they obviously won that football game against the Lions. I feel like I should ask if this moment could be too big for Jaden, but I mean, the guy goes and wins 2 playoff games on the road. I mean, it doesn't feel like the moment would be too big for him, even in an NFC Championship game, Warren.
No, I love his demeanor, and that was the thing that really impressed me when I first met him when he was 19 years old. And it's even gotten better since he's gotten older. He has no pulse. You know, nothing seems to faze him. He doesn't seem to get really excited when he does something well, or if he does something bad, which isn't very often. He doesn't seem to get down on himself. So he has tremendous confidence. He also has tremendous faith, and I think that faith is one of the things that keeps him going in the right direction, that he's not going to get too high or too low. He's going to, put his trust in his spirituality, and that's really been a big key for him.
What should we look for on Sunday if you're out there and you say, hey, early signs that the Eagles are going to win this game? Is it, like you said, is it Saquon Barkley effectively rushing the ball? And if on the other side of things, is it the Commanders stopping Saquon from going off and especially breaking these big runs?
Yeah, they're definitely going to have to stop Saquon Barkley, and that means they're going to put a lot of people up the line of scrimmage. Now we have to see if Jalen Hurts is healthy enough to take advantage of Devontae Smith and also A.J. Brown on the outside, because these 2 guys are 2 of the better receivers in the league, but you're not utilizing them very much because you have this high-powered running back behind you. But if they want to take him away, you're going to have to make sure you put these guys back into the fold and make them a bigger part of the ball game, because they are game breakers and they can change the way this game is played. So I think the Eagles have the advantage from that side because they have a great running game and they have 2 receivers. Now it's up to Jalen Hurts. Can he make the throws coming off an injury from last week?
It seems, Warren, and it'll get you out of here in a minute, Warren. Thanks so much, as always. Do you buy into that notion that division games are always tight? So even if one team has a better roster than the other, somehow, some way, they know each other so well that these games are always close. So do you think that carries over into Sunday's game against the with the
No
Commanders?
question about it. I think it carries over even more so. And if you look around the league, whenever 2 division opponents are playing each other, those games tend to always be very tough, no matter what those records are. And I think it's going to be no different in this one. It hasn't been that long since they played against each other. But again, I think the advantage is that you're at Philadelphia. That crowd is going to be rabid. They're going to be nasty. They're going to be mean. Intimidating, and also the weather. The weather always plays a part, I think, in the playoffs. Who handles the weather the best? And I think that's where Philadelphia has a little bit of an advantage because they've already been in it. That game last week, you don't get much worse than it was
No.
last week in that snow game, and they handled it pretty well, especially with their running game.
It feels like you're saying like Eagles by 3, something like that.
It's going to be that type of game, and those are the type of games you want these championship games to be. You want them to come right down to the end. You want them to live up to the billing, and I think both of these games will live up to the billing this week.
I agree. This weekend and last weekend are my two favorites, even more than the Super Bowl. Right? Super Bowl, too much other stuff going on.
Yeah,
Love it, but
too
too
much
much.
stuff going on.
This is real football. So,
This is where the football is being played. The hunger is to get to the Super Bowl. Once you're there, you're going to relax a little bit and
right.
just go out and play. But these guys are laying everything out on the line for this game.